Hey guys, what's up? I'm Greg. I hope you guys are ready to unpack and get into some good conversations today.
And I'm Jess, and this is our podcast, Baggage Claim. Thank you for joining us.
What's up, Baggage Claim? How is everybody doing out there today? It is January, and we are getting kicked off. Welcome to Baggage Claim, by the way. If you're new here, this is a place where we try to create some community and conversations around life, relationships, kids, not having kids, blended family, not blended family, just life. Friendships.
Great questions.
So,
All of you.
you just name it. We're
being a person.
And if you have been with us since February of last year,
thank you.
You're the real
Singapore,
MVP.
thank you, Singapore. I just want to say, I love looking at the cities that we like, importance of how many downloads per cities. We live in Gainesville, Georgia, which is about 45 minutes north of Atlanta. So it goes Gainesville, Atlanta, download cities, Flowery Branch, which is another small city around here, and then Singapore. So literally,
How far are we from Singapore?
Pretty far.
On the other side of the globe. But love you guys over there. Keep listening. Thank you so much. So take a deep breath. It's January. Januaries are just January. That's all I can say. So
How do you say good January or bad January?
Bro, well, I don't know.
How many times are we going to say? How many times are we going to say the word January?
Well, that's probably 5 or 6 right there.
Well, it is January.
Thank you. That's 7. Grab your favorite drink, whatever that may be. And at the rate we're going, it probably needs to be a pretty strong one. And or just your favorite coffee, your favorite tea. And proverbially just pull up to the table with us. Sit around the table and let's unpack. We're going to, I will say this before I get into our conversation. This is a heavy, this is deep. It's a heavy conversation we're going to have. So in order to kind of, I don't know, kick us off in the right, we're going to do it. We're going to do question time.
Oh boy.
We're going to do question time.
Oh my.
All right, there we go.
I was about the series. We could have said that.
Yeah.
You're welcome, world. Thank you.
Yes.
So, jumping right in, what's I had some questions, but what's your question, Michael? You got a question?
I'm the one that's. What? It's like the funniest or like stupidest New Year's resolution you've either had yourself or have seen like other people have.
Okay.
Because sometimes like they're great, sometimes they're awesome, and then sometimes they're just like out there.
I've never done a New Year's resolution.
See what I mean?
What?
It's just you literally never like even like subconsciously been like, it's January, I'm gonna kick off.
You have
this year.
never in all your 57 years
I'm
of
not
life.
57, first of all.
38 at most.
I'm kidding.
Do you know how old I am?
Yeah, you're in your 40s.
I was gonna say I kind of feel like he needs to answer that question if he actually knows.
No, you're in the 40s. Shut your mouth, producer Michael.
Sorry, Greg.
So
No, I have
never,
not.
ever.
In all of my 47 years of life, no.
You've never said, like, I want to make a change. I'm going to do this differently.
No.
And you just do. No?
Don't make
That's
change.
crazy to me. That's insane.
My life.
Thank y'all.
No, because
Producer Michael assistant or Michael's producer assistant.
Producer Michael Jr.
Yeah. Have you ever? What's?
I don't know.
You don't know if you had a New Year's resolution?
No, I have, but I can't remember any of them.
I had this really. Okay, go ahead. I make a lot of stupid ones all the time.
Is that fair to say that it didn't happen?
You're gonna say that didn't really work out.
No, like I've had goals of like I'm going to read the Bible every day or like small things.
How far
like
did you make it?
I don't even know.
Wow, must have been pretty far.
It's still going.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
it's one that's a resolution you can renew every year.
Just keep
You
that
just
rolling.
keep.
Just roll it into next year.
But like, I don't know.
I just feel like making a New Year's resolution is almost sort of like setting myself up for failure.
Well, yeah, it is if you don't do it.
Right.
I literally just messaged in on my 75 hard group.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, how do I change my headspace before starting so I don't go in expecting to fail?
Yeah.
You don't. You just expect to Just do
You
it.
just don't fail, according to Greg.
No, it's like
Just
before.
don't.
No, it's like before I when I was going to run that half marathon, and I never run a 10K. The most I'd ever run was a 5K. My goal was I had a simple goal. I was like, I'm just not going to walk, and I'm going to finish. That's it. Period. I didn't allow my mind to think I wasn't not going to do it. I didn't allow that headspace. I was like, I'm just going to do this no matter what. And either I pass out.
I can see that, like the mental fortitude or whatever you want to call it.
But I want to hear what's silly ones. What's a funny one?
I did a stupid one time where I was like, I'm going to do one push-up a day, and then I'm going to add. So January 1st, I do one.
Gosh.
January 2nd, I do two.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
It's the dumbest idea
by like the end of
ever.
January.
You could just like slam out 30 push. I mean, if you're like, it's not that big of a deal until you get to like June, July.
Right.
You're pumping out a lot of push-ups.
Right.
I didn't think that through. You know, I just
What
thought
were
it
you
was a
gonna
great
say,
idea.
Brenda?
It's Greg in December.
Once a month.
Yeah, you did have one. You were trying to
No.
learn something new.
I have this thing. I still do it. That I am going to learn how to do something new, just throughout the year. Whatever. There's one thing a year. Like 1 year, it was I was gonna learn how to longboard. So I bought a longboard and I started longboarding.
Is that when we worked together?
Yeah, it's in the
Yes.
parking
Oh,
lot.
yeah, that was.
It was so fun, man. I would go out there and
You
put
were
my
like
headphones.
the cool guy on the staff, man. Like you like ride your longboard up and down the hallways in the office.
Yeah, I did. I would go out in the
I
parking
loved it
lot.
because you also had that. Yeah, we also had a
you had the
scooter.
scooter. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you also did the whole brushing your teeth with the opposite hand, trying to rewire your brain.
I did.
That would hurt.
He did some
That's like-
really silly things
So
now that
my
we're talking
favorite-
about it.
One of my favorite quotes from The Office is Michael Scott when they're talking about New Year's resolutions.
Mhm.
And he's like upset that other people hadn't followed through on theirs. Then he was like, flossing, January 1st, bam, done, blood everywhere.
So true.
Michael, have you had any silly ones?
Oh, silly ones? I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of like Miranda. I'm having a hard time thinking on the New Year's resolutions. So two of them that I have done, they're not silly. They're actually serious. That I did this last year. One was carnivore diet. I was gonna do.
You did stick to that.
30 days of
Yeah.
carnivore diet, and I was gonna do it like every other month because I'm just gonna be honest. Like I like bread, and so I needed to still have some bread.
Right.
So I did that. That actually went very well. I'm actually about to do it again
Mm.
because I didn't do it over December or November for
That's
obvious
just too
reasons.
hard. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Yes.
Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Dressing.
Yes, absolutely. But no, last year I did do, I wanted to read through the Bible. I wanted to finish the Bible from beginning to end. And I am only 60 days behind on my reading plan currently. So
Have you ever
I'm
done
almost-
that? Cover to
No,
cover?
not. And it was actually something that happened at church. I was like, because my pastor was like, hey, if you've not read the Bible from cover to cover, absolutely, how can you say you believe everything in it? And I was like, dope. Like in my life, like I'm sure that if I calculated up all the books that I've read, like individually over time, like I'm sure I probably have read the entire Bible.
Right.
But I was like, but do I know?
Have
From
you?
cover to
Have you?
cover.
Has anybody else in here?
I've
read it?
not.
I have not.
And so I'm like,
Okay.
I'm
And
so
you've done it
close.
multiple times, though.
Like 5 or 6.
That's awesome. I will say this: it has completely changed my life. Like just with
I'll
seeing it in a completely different
I
perspective.
will tell you something like this past year, which was crazy. It's because I've read the Bible through several times. Just because when I first became a Christian, I didn't know any of it, so I was so intrigued. I was like, I got to read this. This past year, I did the chronological read through the Bible.
Ooh, I want to do that next. Yeah.
Crazy cool. Like I'm in Genesis. Next thing I know, it's like Job, and I'm like, wait, whoa, he comes later.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
Right?
it's so.
But he really doesn't.
Yeah, because in my mind, when I had read it, it's just the way the books of the Bible fall, you think it's in chronological order, and it's not. And so when you read it that way, it's just kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. But I think that's a good discipline to have. Like, yeah, if you're going to be you ought to know it.
Yeah.
Like, kick the tires of it, know the goods, the ins, the outs, all of it. So,
So New Year's resolutions, y'all.
I haven't made any. I haven't thought about it. I haven't made any. My New Year's resolution is really, I don't know if it's New Year's resolution or just a decision. We're really pushing a lot of chips into the middle of the table when it comes to baggage claim.
Nice.
Like we're just going to push them into the middle of the table and see what happens. And I hope all of our listeners out there support us as we do that, because it's going to be a lot of fun stuff coming up. to see what happens. So
Yeah.
that's me.
Yeah.
So, man, I want to preface this as saying this whole conversation Jess and I got into, it was during Christmas break. I'm a huge, don't judge me, I'm a huge Will Smith fan. Like, I love Will Smith movies. I think he has like 8 Pounds is one of my favorite movies he does. This other movie he does is probably my favorite. One of like I Am Legend is a great one too. Like there's just some really, really, really good Will Smith movies out there.
Men in Black.
Excuse me.
Men in Black. Okay, but this one probably the top of my list.
And it's the least known. Nobody has ever seen it when we say the name of it.
Yeah, when you say the movie, people are like, "What?" It's worth a watch.
It's called Collateral Beauty.
Yeah, and so we'll start watching this movie. We've seen it probably 5 or 6 times.
Oh yeah.
And
I ugly cry every single time.
I just ugly cried in a way I haven't seen
Yeah.
this past time because we would pause the movie and we started talking about our life.
Yeah.
Through this movie.
And we've never done that. Like we've had
usually because
tears.
there's other kids, their kids who are with other people.
but-
It's just me and you.
Yeah. And we did. We paused here and there and just kind of compared it to our own lives.
Our lives and our stories. What we had went through. And it was just and we were sitting there and we go, we have to talk about this.
Yeah.
Like we have to do this episode. So this may be this is going to be hard. It may be hard if you're in a point where you're walking through grief or you're dealing with grief. This may be very, very fresh for you. And I understand if you need to hit pause and come back to this. If you can relate to this, if you can catch this, the idea of collateral beauty, we will get into it. But it has to do with loss.
Yeah.
And so whatever that looks like, and there's all different levels of loss and how that comes about. And so we're going to dig into that today. And this will probably be a 2-parter. So whatever we get into, we may share the collateral part in the beginning, and then we'll jump into the beauty part in part 2. So this is a 2-parter. So we'll try to be probably open and honest as we can, but respectful as we move through this pretty tough topic.
It is.
So,
Loss is something that most of us are going to deal with or have already dealt with.
well, yeah, it's a given. Like it's a given that we will have that in our lives.
And when you experience it, other things come along with it that nobody really prepares you for.
Well, nobody really talks about them a whole lot. It's just kind of like that unexpected part of that thing.
Yeah.
That's just, oh, you should know that. And you're like, how would I
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like losing a spouse through either divorce or death, that pain doesn't stay contained in one nice, tidy little box.
No.
It spills out into lots of other areas.
And too, with this being said, because you lost your husband in a tragic accident. I went through divorce. It doesn't matter which side of divorce you're on.
No, it's still
there's
a
pain.
loss. Yeah.
Whether you feel like you caused the divorce or you are effective that, whatever that may be, there's hurt on both sides. So when we talk about divorce, it's not I was cheated on or I was done wrong or I was done this or that or the other. It's like, no, we're talking about the hurt and the pain that comes with those things.
Yeah.
And
that pain spills into friendships, the way you parent, your identity, your faith, your finances, your self-view. It spills over into everything.
Yeah, if I had to be careful not to jump on my soapbox, because there's one thing I've seen in families or parents who went through divorce. They parent so much out of guilt. They give their kids whatever they want, whenever they want. And I've heard the phrase thousands of times because we've talked with lots and lots and lots of couples and blended families. They go, my kids come first. My kids are first. And I'm like, okay, so why are you getting married? If that's your mentality, then don't get married.
Yeah, don't get remarried.
Because and they're just like, that doesn't make sense. My kids should be first. I'm like, so who's this guy that you're marrying? Like, where does his role fall in that? So I don't want to get into that, but it's just, it does. It's parenting, the way you look at so many different things in life, friendships, everything it's affected.
When acknowledging that collateral damage to all those other areas is not weakness, that's part of your healing. But I think that's one of the hardest parts is to acknowledge like, okay, yeah, I have this loss. I'm grieving. I'm heartbroken, but also it touches all these other places of my life.
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a really hard, it's just hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're at in that.
No.
And it's the acknowledgement part usually takes a little bit though. Like it doesn't
I would
come
agree
quick.
with that. No.
And so, well, also too, I want to frame, like if you're right in this right now,
Mm-hmm.
like this is probably something that's going to take a little time to walk through. This is a long road.
It is.
It's not a short little path. It's not a sprint. It's not a walk around the block.
No.
This is a long journey.
Yeah.
And so, but how do you, I'm just curious though, acknowledging that, where did that acknowledgement come or how did it come for you?
Oh, it's just through counseling. I mean,
Someone bringing your attention to it?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's like you can expect to experience a loss of some sort. And when I personally experienced it, like, of course I expected when he passed away, yes, I'm going to grieve my husband. But then there's all these other things that came along with it. Like I didn't expect to lose other parts of my life. Like I lost friends after it. I lost security, safety, like all these other losses that come along with, yes, I lost a spouse, but there's a long list of other things that I lost too that I had to work through.
Did you ever have an opportunity to ask your friends?
Yeah, it didn't go well.
Oh, can you share that?
It was mostly answers like, well, we were friends with Jessica and TJ. It's going to be hard for me to be friends with just Jessica and not expect to see TJ. I'm like, well, I'm still me. Like, I'm still the same me, and I still have the same kids. Like, why that wasn't fair.
Right.
So that was a damage that went along with that I did not expect at all.
Yeah.
So, It
was the one thing, too, that, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with you. I think you knew this, though. Like, going through divorce, you know that when you're divorced from that person, you know those relationships with family are going to be severed or you're going to lose those. And I've been married for quite a while. And my ex, I really, really liked her mom and her dad and had a great relationship with them. But that was just gone. And that was a weird thing for me to go to just almost grieve the loss of that relationship. And I know people would say, well, you can't do that. And I was like, but in all reality, it was hard for them to have the relation. It was it's just too much for them to juggle. And the easiest thing for me was to just step out of that and not create more chaos.
Yeah.
But even some of her brothers, I just loved. There was some of the guys that I would still text from time to time. Uncle John, I would text him on occasion because he's a huge Bama fan.
Yeah.
And so
it's fun to give him a hard time.
Yeah, I would just text him and give him a hard time even afterwards. But losing those relationships is one of those things that you're like, it's just crazy you don't think about it.
No, that initial loss doesn't just present itself alone. Like it brings friends. It brings other pieces of loss that you were not expecting. Completely.
Unwanted friends.
Yeah. So we've already used the phrase collateral damage a couple of times, but the actual definition or condensed definition of collateral damage is the unintended fallout that happens after an event. And we've talked about some of these already, about the unintended fallout of a divorce or a death, of, identity loss and relationships that have shifts in them. There's strain on how you parent with death and divorce. Like it changes everything. Financial pressure, the faith confusion, the how can God let this happen to me? And
well, just like when you and I met, Thomas, your oldest, was kind of, he was still young.
Yeah.
He was still, but in his mindset, he was kind of the man of the house.
He very much felt that way.
And so he took on that mantle and was those things. And so when I came around, you parented completely different the way than I did. And then when I came into the picture, it was different for him, and it was a big change for him. Even in the middle of that, somewhat of a relief to he could let go of that and be a kid
completely.
But at the same time, it's just one of those things. You're like, who would have thought
that
the collateral damage from that would put weight on a kid.
on a 9-year-old boy.
Yeah, growing up in that home. So,
And it did. Yeah. Like he even, just briefly, like he even, like when we were grieving all together, like there was times where I knew he needed to let go and he needed to talk, but he wouldn't, because he would literally tell me, I need to stay strong for you, Mama. And I'm just like, you're a little guy. Like that's collateral damage that I was not anticipating.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
kids want to protect their parents.
Very
and in
much.
divorce, and that's the hard part of, like, even in divorce, parents, sometimes one parent may get mad, or they may get frustrated, or they may get hurt. And so therefore in that situation, they want to blame the other parent, and the kids feel like they have to choose. Like, if I want to support my mom, I got to support my mom, and I can't love my dad, or I got to support my dad and not love my mom. And we put these kids in these weird situations, and it's just a lot of collateral crap that just comes into all that. And not only that, but friendships. Like, you lose a lot of friends just that they feel like they have to pick a side, and they can't. And so they do pick a side, and sometimes you never hear from them again, and it's tough.
Yeah.
So,
And we're comparing death and divorce a lot, but like we keep saying, they're both a loss. Like when it's a death, it's a loss without choice.
right.
And divorce, it is a loss, but there's a perceived blame that comes along with that. So that's an extra piece of collateral damage.
Yeah, there's just a guilt, shame that comes with that.
Yeah. And then, you grieve differently, but you still grieve what you had.
Yeah.
One way or another.
Right.
But,
well, of course you do, because, I mean, it's a loss. And I think that's the hard part in divorce is, see, your decision was final.
Yeah.
Like, it was done. In divorce, that person's still there.
Right.
But that divorce is over, so you've split ways. And so there's a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage that comes with that.
Yeah. And with death, there's a lot more grace given, obviously. But then there's also, hidden expectations of timelines for how long that you should take to heal. Some folks think you should hurry it up and, move on with your life. And other people think that maybe you should not ever move on with your life. But then on the other...
That's an interesting concept, because I'm curious, what made you... I think we may have asked this in your episode. I can't remember. But what made you kind of decide that you needed to move on? Like, I got to move forward. I can't get stuck here.
Well,
do you remember what that one thing was?
The widows group at church that I was in. I mean, I was only 31, 32. And all these the ladies and gentlemen, it was widows and widowers. They were older. But some of them had been widowed for 30 years, which means that they were only in their 40s or so, or whatever, when their spouse died, but they were just like, well, this is just what God had for me. And I just couldn't fathom, this is as I was trying to process God's whole plan with what happened. Just like, I can't imagine that God wants me to just stay sad. Because that's not what kind of God he is. Right. And so I just was like, nope, I'm not going to get stuck here. This is not my label. And then my kids were so little that I just had to be a better example for them. I didn't want them to get stuck either.
Gotcha.
And so
and
at that point, it had nothing to do with whether or not I wanted to remarry. It just, I knew that I needed to keep moving forward.
Gotcha. Yeah. You don't know what that forward looks like.
I had no idea.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely more grace given, because if we share a story with someone, we've been out to dinner, and we share a story, and they would just be like, "Oh,
poor Jess."
Yeah, bless your heart.
And then it's, Greg, what did you do?
I share mine. They're like, "What did you do? Like, how did you screw that up?" I'm like, "Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So sweet of you."
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it's hard to remember that both of those different scenarios, it's both your safety is broken, like. There's trust, your future plans, like on both sides of that equation, it's just everything is not what you thought it was going to be.
It's like you're 12 years into this plan that you had building. It's on the whiteboard. It's kind of like that, it's just this massive plan laid out, and you're 12 years and somebody comes in and wipes it all clean and goes, okay,
never mind.
It's time to start over.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
I didn't want to.
Yeah. Like, I didn't ask for that. I don't want that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and along with all those other things we've kind of already briefly talked about, but there's all these things that people don't really talk about. They're like invisible losses, like with friendships, and you added to that with the extended family members that you had good relationships with, and
Well, something that's interesting though, like we're talking about divorce versus losing a death. Like, I think we used the phrase that we said, "Hey, there's what is it? There's less casseroles and more
more opinions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had so many people.
Yeah.
No one showed up at my house with a casserole. I can tell you that.
I had so many that the church had to give me a second refrigerator.
I had a lot of people with opinions.
Literally.
A second refrigerator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have that. But it's like I had a lot of opinions about things that I had done wrong and should have done better, and things that were wrong. But yeah, there are those invisible losses though that come that we don't see coming.
Yeah, no.
And then you just turn around and they're gone.
Yeah.
And you're like, what happened to that? So,
I mean, I remember it's almost like I forgot how to use words because I was at a point in my life where I was just like, I don't even know how to explain this. But there was, it was just such a heavy loss of just everything, confidence and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that I lost that kind of surprised me in that process, and we may get to that.
We're going to get to that in just a minute, yeah.
Okay, so I won't share that. But I think it was all the things that were the invisible losses that kind of piled up that you find yourself feeling. You may not have been, but you feel totally alone.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, where do we go?
And
how do we move forward from here?
And I even asked the question too, as I was processing, like, there's things, maybe it's not a question, but I lost stuff that people never even acknowledged. And you did too.
Like what?
Well, the idea of belonging to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I like being your girl. Like, that was a big thing that people didn't, like, oh, you lost your husband. You lost, all these, like, official terms. But I'm like, I lost just feeling like I belong to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, he picked me.
Yeah.
And so there's just little things that I think that people don't acknowledge. And I think it probably goes even more so with divorce. There's all these little invisible losses, like you said, that they're not acknowledged, but they add up.
Well, I think the biggest part with divorce is that you did pick each other in the beginning, and then there was a point where it says, I don't pick you anymore.
Right.
Like, I don't want that with you anymore. And that's the hardest part.
Right.
And I think that's where that invisible thing of confidence, that invisible loss comes in. You're like, you lose all confidence in, like, kind of who you are and what you're about and what you stand for. And that stuff that's not a quick rebuild. That's not just go, spend a weekend alone in a cabin and find yourself again and you'll be good to go. It's like, there's a lot of trust in people, trust in just relationships and confidence and self-worth that it's hard to find.
Yeah. And I think it's important too, if you find yourself in this kind of sad place, that you don't rush through the meaning of what's happening, because that was one thing my counselor really helped me do, is kind of slow down to process, like, what am I feeling? You don't have to rush through, because there's meaning in the suffer, or whatever word you want to use. There's meaning in this loss.
Well, there's meaning. There's things to learn in the journey.
Right.
Like, I remember I did this, God, I can't tell you how many days. I would just be like, please just show me what to do. Just show me what's around the corner. Like that parade, like, I just want a bird's eye view of what's around the corner, what's next. And I always remember I never got that. But then I look back now, and I truly was like, if I would have seen the picture of you and I, our family together, I would have jacked that up so bad. I would have tried to make that happen. It came down for me. It was the simple idea of just take one step today. Like, let's just do one step and see what happens. Let's do one step and see how if we can regain some of those things.
Yeah.
And don't worry what's around the corner. Just worry about right now.
That's true.
So
I was doing some reading today, and something I saw that said, you don't heal by explaining your pain away, but you heal when you acknowledge it. and you work through it.
Help me understand what you guys mean. Like, Producer Michael, you got anything to add with that?
No, I think that is absolutely true. When I went, excuse me, when I went through divorce, it was very easy to be able to identify what was causing me grief,
Right.
what was causing me frustrations, guilt, shame,
Mm-hmm.
all these things, whether it be something someone else said to me about what I went through,
Yeah.
or more so, it was even what I thought about what I did. You know, like, oh my gosh, did I do enough to show that I cared? Did I do enough, you know,
Mm-hmm.
to fight for my marriage? And it wasn't until I went to counseling, and this was months after my divorce, because I could talk about it all day long. I didn't want to talk about it,
Yeah.
but I could. I mean, Greg, you can attest to that. We talked many times about what I was going through, but my counselor sat me down and he was like, okay, you're wrestling with these thoughts and these thoughts keep coming back. What are you doing to process and finalize these thoughts?
Yeah.
You know, because you can just still sit in your own guilt and shame for forever, whether it's true or not, because in your own mind, you feel like they're true, whether they are or not.
Right.
But when I hear you say that statement, can you say it one more time?
Let me put my reading glasses back on. You don't heal by explaining your pain away. You heal by acknowledging it and working through it.
Yes. So, yeah, you can acknowledge it and just talk about it all the time. But it wasn't for me until I was able to sit down and think through a thought, take one thought, which is hard to do because there's thousands sometimes in your mind, and finalize that thought.
Yeah, that's what helped me too. I remember with my counselor, we would work on just different pieces of what I was feeling rather than trying to rush me through it, because I went for 2 years.
Yeah.
It was just each different piece and just all the layers. There's just so many layers.
Mm-hmm. And to be clear, like when I say finalize that thought, it means you're going to go one of two ways when you finish this thought. Either this thought has truth and validity to it, and that therefore that means I want to change something about myself. If it's something that I didn't do enough of.
Right.
Okay, well then I'm now going to say I'm not going to let that thought change my emotion, but I'm going to let it fuel what I want to change about myself. Or if I take that thought and say, that is a lie, that is not true, therefore it should not hold anything over me to affect my emotions. And saying this is a lot easier to say it than to do it.
Oh, yeah.
Because those thoughts are going to come back the next day.
Oh, 100%.
Those thoughts are going to come back the next week, the next month, the next months, and years even.
And the thing is, you get to control your thoughts, though. Like, you can either let them run rampant or you can take control of them and start work through them.
And I would encourage this just from my beliefs and where I stand. The Bible says take every thought captive to the obedience of God's word. You know, because you can go to friends, and friends can fill you so full of so many different words.
Yeah.
They can, and I'm not saying that it's the worst thing in the world, but sometimes in their attempt to try to build you up, they feed you even more lies.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just want to support you, so they just keep piling on to the bad thought that you already have.
And so you may have someone guiding you and pushing you in one direction, but that might not be what is healthy for you.
Right.
Because if what's healthy for you is to make a change in your life, and they're feeding into enabling something that is not healthy about your life, then that's not good.
Yeah.
But even in that, and I'm not saying not to seek counsel from friends and from mentors, because we all should.
Yeah.
However, that should not trump what is true and what we know is to be true in God's word.
Yeah.
And so for me, that made a significant difference, being able to identify truth in my life, what I fought for, what I didn't, where I needed to change, what I needed to change, and how to grow from there.
But because when those thoughts came up, you're like, no, it's no truth to that. It's not.
Yeah, well, it makes it
you just
easier
let
to
it go.
fight them as time goes on.
Yeah.
Because I'll say, like, a year after my divorce, I still had those thoughts come back. But when you're able to finalize those thoughts, the moment it comes in, you have the victory winning ammunition from the start.
Yeah.
Which means you can shut them down, which means the emotional roller coaster waves are much smaller and they're much shorter rides at that time too. The more you're able to combat it, the quicker and easier it is to overcome it.
Yeah.
And it takes time.
Yeah. It's true. It does.
So, with all of this that we've said, let's unpack a little bit.
All right. Fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the real stuff.
So,
rubber meets the road, I guess, as they say.
Okay. So, I think it's important that when you're going through this, any kind of these losses that we've talked about, that you name the damage, the collateral damage. For example, we were talking earlier, an exercise to try if you've been through this, is to name 3 things that you lost that weren't that person. Like for me, TJ passed away. I lost him as a human, but I also lost a feeling of safety. I lost the feeling of trust, like trusting what the plan was for my life. And I lost confidence, maybe that I didn't lose confidence in the same way you did. I lost confidence in what I thought my life was. But I guess that's just kind of the same thing too, honestly.
Could be.
So those are 3 things that I lost. What about you?
How about you, Mike?
I would say confidence was a big one for me, you know, especially being in marriage and coming to a point where someone who said, I choose you, said, nope, never mind. And you can't help but wonder, well, what did I do that made them change their mind? You know, so confidence was a big one. Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, I'm still working through that.
Yeah.
Still. And it's been two years, just over.
Yeah.
It took you a while to work through that one too.
It did take me a while.
And this one is a big one for me because it affected me probably the most as far as collateral damage goes. But joy. Joy. And if you know much about me, you know I love music. Yep. Anything from classical string quartets to like rap to screamo to alternative rock to country. Like I love music. If I'm working, there's music playing. If I'm riding in my car, it's windows down, music playing. You know, like that's my life. It was probably at least a year before I could even just listen to music in the car. I couldn't.
Wow.
I wouldn't do it. I used to take my dog. I live half a mile from the lake. I used to take my dog to the lake all the time. Just go out, sit down, and let him do his thing and get as wet as he possibly can in the mud and the Georgia clay. And it was over a year before I could do that. I didn't want to. I had no desire to.
Yeah.
And in the things that gave me joy and the things that brought joy in my life. And I remember because we talked about that multiple times. Even this last year, we've talked about that.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me.
What about you, babe?
Mine would be, I think confidence, but in a different way, like confidence in myself.
Yeah.
Just in relationships, just kind of, I lost self-worth. And some of that had to do with the confidence, but then it was just direction for me. It's as crazy as it sounds, but I mean, I felt like I had direction. I knew where I was going. I knew what was happening. I knew what I wanted out of life, what was going on. And then all of a sudden, I don't have any of that.
Yeah.
And so it was a scratch it all and just start over again. And that just wrecked me. It was one of those things it's like, wow.
Yeah.
I never saw coming.
So what was something that surprised you in your experience?
Mine's probably not the good answer, but the church. The church surprised me the way they didn't respond. It messed with me with church for a while. Yeah. And then I realized, not God, not my relationship with him, just church.
The people.
And I get it. Churches run by people, churches, but there was a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of I was just kind of pushed out a little
Yeah.
bit too. And so it took me a while before I even wanted to consider that or be a part of that or
Mhm.
any of those things. And so that changed. That was up until then, that was a huge part of my life.
Mhm.
My walk, my relationship. And so it to say it suffered would be an understatement. I kind of just
Yeah.
took a little time and walked away from it.
Yeah.
So
I mentioned this earlier, but something that surprised me in my loss and part of the collateral damage was the loss of some friendships,
yeah,
which still baffles me 15 years later or however, 16 years later. It still baffles me.
yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you,
Kinda
Michael?
hurtful.
What surprised you?
It was surprising to see her moving out of our house on Sunday on my way home from church.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
That's a surprise. Yeah.
Didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to that.
Yeah.
Come home from work and there's
Yeah.
a moving truck.
Yeah. And the next part of the unpack, though, you mentioned this a minute ago about finding somebody to listen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, find somebody, a safe listener that.
And that's important, especially what you just said, a safe listener.
Yeah. Somebody that's not going to judge you, that's not going to rush you, somebody that's not going to try to fix it. You just need somebody to listen to you.
Yes. And honestly, someone that you know loves you beyond anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's people who will try, like you said, just try to fix things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people who will, in their attempt to love you, not give you hard truths either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
I
true.
will say that is a very hard thing to navigate.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least in my circumstance, there's all sorts of people who want to come tell you their truths and what they think you should do or shouldn't
Yeah.
have done or all of this and that.
Yeah.
But being able to identify that is someone who speaks a hard truth in your life, meaning it's either something that you need to change about yourself, change about how you're living, change about what you're doing. Because I'll tell you this, when I was going through what I went through, there were days I just didn't do life. I just didn't. I didn't want to. And there were people in my life who spoke to me and were like, hey, it's 1 p.m. You need to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You need to get up and do something.
Let's put one foot in front of the other.
Yes, literally.
Mhm.
Literally. And my first initial thought is like, you know what? Screw you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm going to do what I want. Like, this is awful what I'm going through. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to have healthy boundaries, because there were also people who tried to just pour in love and do all these things. But that also was very hurtful in a lot of ways, you know, and sometimes it kind of felt like a pity party. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah.
And so being able to work through those relationships, but finding, like you said, finding that safe person that you can share with, that there's not that judgment, there's not that condemnation. They're going to hear what you have to say. They're going to build you up in love and in truth, even if they have to say things that are hard.
Yeah. The last little piece of unpack is important to, you don't need to compare your grief to somebody else's.
No.
Because,
No.
I mean, whether it be,
Everybody loses in comparison game.
Yep.
Everybody. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with. If you're dealing with the relationships, whatever you're dealing with, you're losing.
Yeah.
You're losing when you compare.
You are. And,
regardless.
And no matter what kind of loss it is, it counts. And that's yours to work through.
Yeah.
So, like we said, this one's been a little bit heavy.
But at the same time, you may not be walking through heaviness. You may not be walking through grief. You may not have had a death or divorce.
Mm-hmm.
But we walk through things all the time.
Yeah.
It may be financial trouble. It may be the loss of a job, a loss of a career. That creates some grief. It creates stress in your home. There's so many different things. These are all ideas and things that you can think about and walk through and work. Like the person you were talking about, having somebody who calls you to the carpet and challenges you and pushes you, that's somebody you need in your life every day, whether you're walking
no matter
through
what.
grief or not.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's very
Like
true.
that's somebody who's like, bro, what are you doing? Stop doing that. Like, get your crap together. Those are people that we just need, and we should look to have those people in our lives.
Yeah.
Well, and also an encouragement.
Yeah.
You may not be walking through this right now, but you may know someone who is.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are
Very
good
much.
tools for you to help someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And so this whole time we've been talking about collateral damage. So this was our part 1. And so I hope that everybody can join us for part 2, because after we've talked about the damage and things that come along with loss, there's also beauty in that too.
Yeah, there's a line in the movie that we were watching this movie, and Jess and I, and they say it more than once, but it's this one time, the lady's in the hospital and she's about to, the lady looks at her and she goes, "Are you about to lose someone?" The lady sitting beside her and she goes, "Yes." And the lady goes, "Don't forget to see the collateral beauty." I mean, we just hit pause and I was like,
whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like that's such a strong statement and such a freaking hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Because when you are when you look around and there's damage everywhere, sometimes it's hard to see the beauty.
It is.
And so we're going to dig into the beauty that happens from collateral damage and collateral, and hopefully it's collateral beauty.
Hope so.
That reaches lots of different places. And so we're going to dig into that in part 2 of our episode. So thank you guys for joining us again. Thank you for liking, sharing, being a part of Baggage Claim. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this.
Yeah.
We hope you got something out of this. If you did, man, send us a text from that podcast wherever you're listening. If it's on one of those, DM us, whatever, just let us know. But thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you. Tune in for the next one, please.
Yeah. Part 2 is coming up.